As you know, on Friday, we were also joined, and this surprised us a bit, but nonetheless, it was welcome. Amanda Staveley joined us live on air. Of course, Amanda spent 2 years or more trying to broker a deal between Mike Ashley and the Saudis. And it's fair to say, Simon, you had a slight disagreement.
It is the gift of the 20 clubs in the Premier League, of which 14 can make a quorum, to say to the Premier League board, who work for the 20 clubs, we want to put this to a vote and we want to change the rules to make transparency part of the modern day reporting process. So we're in the same space, Amanda, but we're doing it from a different perspective. What you're doing is rabble-rousing and getting a gullible fan base to believe that the dynamics of what you're trying to achieve is going to give an outcome, when really and truly the government have been very clear. Back to the Premier League, you go and resolve this.
We've asked the Premier League to resolve it, and they can have a vote on this, and
Indeed.
They can have a vote on providing transparency. But I think you will find that the Premier League have instances, especially around arbitration, because the Premier League didn't elect, they offered this arbitration process. They didn't say to all the other clubs, we want to have this process, is this okay? They had to have the ability to go out and do this.
It's a fundamental right of any club, isn't it, Amanda?
All we're saying is we want this to arbitration. We don't, and saying that the fan base is gullible is absolutely ridiculous.
I think it was your statement that the entire fan base was gullible that maybe got them going.
I didn't mean the entire fan base were gullible. I meant those that believe that Amanda's motivations are to be the patron saint of the time, and that ultimately this process of going to Parliament Square or College Green is going to influence the government to intervene in the Premier League's business. That's what I meant. And I also meant that the idea that, I didn't get a lot of I don't think Amanda was listening to what I said. I agree with her. We agreed about the necessity for transparency. We had that agreement, although she seemed to be having an argument with me about the same point that we both agree upon, which was transparency. The fact of the matter is that arbitration was something that was offered to Newcastle by the Premier League, because the Premier League were the ones that were having the issue with the outcome of all the information that was being provided by the private investment fund, and all of the allegations around the piracy side of things that were happening with Bian and the Saudis and so on and so forth. So she's got it wrong. The fact is the arbitration was offered to Newcastle, because I would have expected Mike Ashley, if he's so keen to have this business sold and so believing that this business that's buying it meets all the boxes, to have pushed the envelope and then said, hold on a second, you're denying me the right to sell a business. It's restriction of trade. How dare you do that? I would have expected Mike Ashley to have done this. And the mechanism that is deployed to do that is arbitration first, because you have to exhaust the internal policies of the industry that you're in, and then you take it somewhere else.
Well,
so when I say gullible, I didn't mean those that don't subscribe to every single last nuance and word that Amanda Staveley says. I mean those that look at it pragmatically and sensibly and understand that they are not going to get the government to be involved.
No, it's just it caused quite a bit of anger amongst them.
Well, yes, because if you
now you're saying they're not gullible.
If you take it, I think those that believe in every single syllable that Amanda Staveley is suggesting or saying, I do think they're gullible. I do think if they think they're going to go down to Parliament Square and they're going to make the government become involved, they are gullible. They're slightly naive.
But
it doesn't mean they shouldn't do it. It doesn't mean they shouldn't have the courage of their convictions. It doesn't mean they shouldn't be passionate about their football club and want to understand why things aren't going the way they want them to go.
To be serious now, Simon, the ball's in Richard Masters' court, isn't it?
It's always, the ball's in the 20. I don't understand.
To react to what the supporters have presented them.
Richard Masters works for Newcastle. He works for Liverpool. He works for Crystal Palace, right? So whilst Amanda was waffling on about Premier League boards, those Premier League boards take their instructions from the 20 clubs that they work for in terms of the rule implementation. It's really, really simple, Amanda. I wasn't talking in tongues. If you want to get this rule changed for transparency, which, by the way, it should be, so people can see a public domain business and these sort of things happening. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, because you're going to get transparency, the outcome's going to be any different. It doesn't necessarily.
It would be? I can't see how it can.
I'm not sure, because at this moment in time, the Saudis have pulled out. I asked Amanda, are they back in? And she said the consortium is all intact. Now, that doesn't mean they're in or they're out. It means a consortium is back intact. And Amanda,
they haven't really gone away.
And Amanda, well, they did go away. They pulled out of the transaction.
Right.
Now, if the Saudis, what I don't understand is the Saudis are big boys. with more money than God are not quite sure why they need Amanda in the first place.
Well, let's see what happens in the fullness of time.
But you've tried your very level best to throw me under the Newcastle
Richard
bus
Masters has got the protesters. Well, you said the record straight now. When you said gullible, you didn't mean every single one of them. I don't know. I might be right.
Just the majority.
I might be wrong about this, Danny, but I got the impression Amanda Staveley loathes Simon. But anyway, I might be wrong about that. I don't see how she can.
Listen,
I mean, I know you're adorable.
To be fair, if you call someone a sanctimonious self-serving ratbag, then you deserve to be told off because it was not the right terminology. I do think she is sanctimonious and I do think she's self-serving, but I shouldn't have called her a ratbag.
There you go. And Newcastle fans, you're anything but gullible. We got an apology this lunchtime.
Reversal.
History and a reversal.
Backing up. Beep.
Danny, well done. Mr. Jordan, I shall see you tomorrow. H&J in the way.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning 10 till 1 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.